And welcome back to another tutorial in Adobe Premiere, one of my favorite go-to programs. And we will, did you guys hear that S? Listen, programs. I am looking to do a color pass today. I'm not a colorist myself, but being an editor, I've had many clients and producers ask me, hey Rob, do you color as well? And I say, yes, I can color. Let's just turn this off right now because that is not... There we go. This is the flat image. Just didn't want you to think I graded that. Color is, there's a lot of subjectivity. Color is subjective, guys. Okay. How you want to change the look of something. There's no right or wrong. Okay. As you can see here on the left, there's colorists who will try to get this white close to the center. Okay. So if I turn this back on, and so this white over here is somewhat over to, it's on this side. Now, let's say if we brought these midtones to the yellow, watch what happens. See, it goes over to the yellow side. So a lot of colorists will try to get this kind of in the center. So you'll play around with midtones, right? And you're gonna really look for skin tones here, and it's kind of tricky here to see because it's like a glare, reflection in a window. You'll have colorists that'll say, okay, let's get the red, the green, and the blue all lined up perfectly, only to realize it's not the look you're going for. There's certain things, and there's some science behind coloring for sure, and this is why I hire professional colorists to do my work when there's budget. But when I'm coloring myself, I kind of just go by my eye, what looks good, and I've never had a problem doing this. I've had clients and producers very happy. I'm probably doing color wrong or not 100% correct, but it looks great. Okay, so I want to go through a quick color pass with you guys, just going based off of my eye. And we can look at it together, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of critiques. But like I said, in the past, I've been successful with handing over projects, content, and they've been very happy with the color. So we're going to start from scratch here in Premiere. This is a shot of my lovely girlfriend looking out of the window. We were doing a test shot here. She's not in wardrobe or makeup, but she still looks beautiful. So we are going to use the Lumetri color. I love Lumetri in Premiere. And we're going to open up basic correction. And what I first like to do is kind of get the contrast that I'm going for. And guys, I never use LUTs. I rarely use LUTs. I know there's people who sell LUTs online. Rarely do I ever put a LUT into Premiere and it's perfect. Like, you're always going to have to make tweaks to a LUT. So, and for those of you who don't know, a LUT is basically just a plugin you can put in your camera so you can see a final look of what the color will look like. If you have a big director monitor, you can turn on a LUT such as like the Amira here and click it. And that's actually pretty nice. And this is what you'll see in the camera on set. Okay. But when you get the file and you're working in Premiere, you're going to have a flat image, and you want to work from a flat image. I don't like working with LUTs. I like doing everything custom. Okay. So first thing what I would do is just bring down the blacks. Bringing down the blacks. Let me exaggerate it here for you guys and just show you. So if I up the contrast, bring down the blacks, bring down the shadows, now you can kind of see we have a more cinematic look, right? And if we added some blue here, it's like, oh, damn, here we go. All right. Or add some orange, right? It's pretty extreme. There's no right or wrong in this, guys. There's no right or wrong. Now, if you have a clip that follows this one, the clip has to follow this one, okay? The color. So that's where you have to be right. If there's 10 clips you're coloring, they all have to match. But we just have one clip. So guys, is this a right or wrong color here? Is this a right or wrong color? Like, it depends on the mood. It depends on the tone of the story. There's no right or wrong, guys. There's no right or wrong. It's all opinion, really. Okay. So I'm going to go for a look that pleases my eye. What is good over here in the Lumetri scopes is getting this to around 100 and then down here to 0. And that'll show that your exposure is good if the white up here is near the 100 mark. So I will automatically bring the exposure up 0.2-ish, and that goes up. And then we can also pull down the blacks a little bit. And I like contrast. So I'm gonna, the shadows are really far down there. We could also open up curves here. And if you click on the white, this is gonna control the exposure. See, like that or like that. Like, that's pretty cool too. So what I like to do for this is just kind of create 3 dots, 1, 2, 3. And then I'll pull this one down. And as you can see, look at that. It's bringing it more black, okay? She's looking at a little yellowy orange here. And so we could try upping the blues a little to fix that. Just a bit, and you can see over here, the blue kind of went up to the green and the red. She's looking a bit better there. You can also go to the temperature to adjust for that, or the tint. So I always just play around. I'll do like minus 15. I'll make it a big number. You're like, okay, that's too much. That's too greenish, yellowish. Okay. So let's go to a plus 15. See how that looks. Okay. That's too purpley now. So if we want to meet in the middle, let's put in a 5. That looks pretty nice. I'm going to up the highlights a little bit, just make it a little bit brighter. Maybe this is like a love scene in a music video and you want to, or maybe it's like a flashback scene and you really want to, you know, bring up the white. See, guys, there's no right or wrong. It depends on the scene. This could be good or this could be good. I actually don't mind the highlights down, and let's try maybe the whites up a little, just like that. I'm going to go to the vignette, and the vignette's nice because you can add, see that right there around the edges. You can also bring it up for a white. So if this is a dream sequence, it would work well for white. Let's bring it down to, you know, more of the black. Okay. You can play around with this, the size of the vignette, right? Something like that. See, I'm just going back and forth here. You can play with the roundness too, and then the feather. So obviously that's 0, and then you want to feather it out. You don't want to notice the vignette. Like there you notice it, here you don't. Okay. Let's see. Something I like to do also is faded film look. So here's faded film. Let me just put on my cursor here. I always forget. There's that red dot. Now you can see where I am. And faded film, as an example, let me just show you. I'll go 0 and then 100. Okay, so let me undo that. Boom, boom. It just has a nice look to it, but it's too much. So I'm going to go, you know, around 22. You can sharpen the image, right? Let's bring this full screen. And the sharpen before versus after, it's kind of hard to tell depending on how much you sharpened it. I don't want to lose too much quality. Vibrance is going to up the saturation, okay? And same with saturation. So I'll leave that vibrance as is, and that actually control the saturation in basic control, which is right here. So let's go 125. Boom, gave her a little bit more color. Her hair is really popping. Maybe it's a little too much. I'll go down to 116. There we go. And let's just look at the before and after, guys. Like huge difference, right? Another thing I like to look at is in the look. So I know this is sort of like a LUT, but you know, I like to kind of click one and then play a little bit with it. The intensity here is at 100. So I'll right away bring this down to like 30. And then I'll find a look that I like. So I'll just kind of go down the list and just find something that I like to see. None of these are doing anything. Let's go more down here to the gold orange. Sometimes I use these, sometimes I don't. Let's up the intensity and just kind of see what happens. You know, it's all about experimenting and kind of seeing what works. Like, look at this big difference between that, right, and that. So lots to explore. Lots to explore. That's kind of, you know, if right now what I would want to do is play with the tint on this one, I think. Let me see if that does anything. That's kind of like more washed out now. It's kind of nice. Highlights are a little blown out. We've actually been changing it around too much now, so everything's kind of, you can see over here, everything's past 100. So let's bring the exposure back down to 0. And I'm just going to undo this a few times so we can get back to where we were. I'm going to turn off the look we had in creative. We're just going to undo it. I'm just going to turn it right off because I don't really care to use it. So little contrasty. So I'll go back to the contrast, bring that back down just a little. Even the shadows are a little too much. The blacks can come back up. And you're just kind of looking for the image that best serves you and the client. All right, so I'm happy with this image. This was, you know, did this in what, 5 minutes? Nothing crazy. And also if you bring the saturation down, totally different look now, right? So depending on the story, it will matter. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to this scene here. Okay, so first let's get, I'm just gonna play with a little bit of the contrast. Bring the blacks down. Now, if you crush the blacks in this one, because it's interior and the way it's lit, it's probably going to be more harsh, right? So let's just exaggerate it here and show you. See something like that, and it might work. You know, if this is a music video, so we can maybe get away with that. So let's go 0.3. Bring that up a little bit. Let's bring the lighting or saturation up. This one I'm going to want a vignette. I'm going to really want to vignette this one. Okay. Let's try bringing down the blues. Let's see what happens. Cool. Yeah, we could go for like a matrixy look and go green. Maybe we'll do that. We'll do a little bit of that. Let's see. Let's go to the green. So this line here is obviously the green line, and it'll control this image. See, so there's green, less green brings us to purple. Okay, so bump it up a little bit. Let's go back to tint, bring it up to like 8, just to try it. Again, I'm just experimenting here. Let's go to 25, just to see where it brings us. That looks pretty nice. Minus 25. That doesn't look nice, so I'll stick with 25. Maybe we'll go 16. Okay. I'm gonna bump up the highlights. Okay, got a nice, we had a nice window here as natural light hitting her. Okay, you can see the fall off here of like, you know, light and then shadows all on the side, and then she was backlit by this window. We didn't have a light on in here, I don't think. There was not one light. This was also a running gun kind of shoot, so there was no budget, there was no gear. We just shot with what we had, and it actually turned out to be a nice image. Okay, let's go to creative. Bump up the saturation a little bit. Not like that. There we go. And again, we'll do that faded film look. See, I love it. Now that's just me though, right? Here's an enhanced faded film. It's too much. I'm gonna find that medium right about there. Bring up the vibrance, sharpen it a little bit. Okay. And again, let's go to the look and see if there's something that we like. So no. Let's go blue. Well, that's neat. That's very music video-y. I'm gonna keep that in mind. The blue cold. The blue cold. The blue cold. That one's nice. Okay, so maybe we'll go with the blue cold. And then just bring the intensity down. Where's that blue cold? Right here. And then we'll bring the intensity down to, let's cut it in half. Okay, you know, that works for me. Let's turn it off and on. You can see the difference, right? Now it looks like it's a little washed out, or it's not as contrasty. So if we want to change that, we can just easily go here, or curves, go to the white, make these 3 dots, 1, 2, 3, and just pull this back. Now pull it back, and here, let me show you before and after. So if you look in this area here, right? So it's not as crushed, and now it is, but it's going to control all of this too. A professional colorist can really separate this image and really go to work on this. But again, this is for low budget videos, no budget videos. If you're doing a personal project, this kind of color method will work for you. And it's just about playing around in this, right? I usually stay in the basic correction in this area right here. And that's how I get my images to look something like this. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys, on color correction in Premiere, just a basic color correction. Like I said, there's a lot of opinions about this. There's no right or wrong in my eyes. It's just a matter of what looks best for you in the project. And I hope you got something from this, something that you didn't know before. And I will see you at the next video. Thanks, guys.